Many organizations have what they call a management of change process. This is a process by which management approves implementations of new changes across the organization. This can be used to supplement, for instance, a ISO 9000 type of management system for quality. So the question we have is, after we've come out of the decision workout and we have that change recommendation and we have a decision by management, how do we actually go on further in terms of recommending those decisions in terms of improvement? Remember, unplanned improvement is chaos. Planning is essential. As Dr. Duran said, improvement happens one project at a time and in no other way. The systematic improvement requires that integration of projects be achieved across the entire organization. We can't have just islands of efficiency sitting here in one area or another. What we need is the flow across those. So as a green belt, you'll be working within one island of efficiency. So the question is, how do we plan and coordinate improvements in any particular area in an organization? So how do we make a dedicated plan to improve? Well, first we see that management at all levels has to recognize that they need to be dedicated to stop wasting money and the resources of their organization. Lean enterprise management begins when overinvestment is eliminated, investments are used efficiently, people are also used effectively, and their brains drive improvement at all levels of the organization and in all business areas. Concern for the customer must be placed as paramount value throughout the whole chain of this process, from the design of the products and production processes to the delivery of the experience to the end customer. All improvement happens one project at a time, and it will be focused in various aspects of that whole end-to-end customer chain. So as we look at that, what we see is there's a need to create an implementation plan. The implementation plan is typically higher than the green belt level in order to be able to achieve this cross-functional coordination that's necessary. And what I'm going to share with you is a one-page plan that was developed back in the 1980s at Hewlett-Packard, and it's been used in many companies in various ways. So the format or the structure is not necessarily the most important thing. So as we look at it, what we see is there's a focus area. So that focus area is talking about an area of the organization, a business process perhaps. We describe the current state. That's what we learned in terms of the measure phase about our baseline. We take a look at the goal. What is the ideal process we'd like to take a look at? What is the objective for change in that business process? And then we see what are the specific actions. So those actions are like the Greenbelt Project implementation plans. Your plan should be very focused. We should have a plan and say, this is what we want to do. Who is the owner of that plan? What is the performance measure that we're going to use to evaluate? That's the why measure. We started with the baseline. We understand where we are and what we can do with this when we analyze the process through the analyze phase. And now we're going to set a target for improvement based on the specific activities that we're going to change. And then finally, we can have the status and the date. Now, each of those projects will have maybe something like a Gantt chart or a schedule upon which we're going to make the implementation plan happen. But this overall format can be used for understanding how we're going to do cross-coordination of a lot of different projects at a higher level. And then your Greenbelt project would be one line in that form. Now, we come out of the improve phase with this idea, we're going to make an improvement. This is the implementation plan we're going to have for doing that improvement. And now what we're going to do is ask the question, then how are we going to transition that improved process to a state of control so that it can be used in the daily management system of our organization? In other words, how do we get it from a change project into the routine work that we're going to do? So in the next phase of our Greenbelt training, we'll then focus on the DMAIC control process.